So, Super League about to break new ground. We're in Barcelona now for the Catalan Dragons against the Warrington Wolves. Let's take a check on the way these two lined up. Catalan Dragons had Green Shields at fullback, then they went Stakul, Croker, Bale and Bell, Bosk and Mogg. Forwards, Fakir, Maguire and Guisset, Elima, Gossard and Carlaw. And on the bench, Perry, Ferriol, Tuxagas and Jason Riles. The coach is Kevin Walters. For Warrington, Mathers at fullback, then it was Hicks, Grix, King and Riley, Bridge and Monaghan. No Lee Breers, you'll notice. Up front, Morley, Clark and Carbell, Louis Anderson, Westwood and Harrison. And on the bench, Rauhihi, Vinnie Anderson, Johnson and Wood. And the coach is Tony Smith. Right, let's go to Barcelona and join our commentators. Paul Cullen, the former Warrington coach, is alongside Ben Pro.
It's a historic night in Barcelona as Spain becomes the 5th country to host a Super League match in 2005. Warrington, the visitors tonight, and Catalan hope to attract 20,000 to the Olympic Stadium here in Barcelona. And the Warrington coach, Tony Smith, of course, up against 4 of the French side, beaten impressively by his England side a week ago. Warrington with the first possession, attacking from right to left in this first half, and it's Clark who finds Monaghan. No Breers for the Wolves this evening. Got a hamstring problem. Chris Bridge named in the centres today, but he will form a partnership with Monaghan, you would suspect, at times in this game. Clark gets it back. The kick down the centre of the field this time. Returned by Clint Greenshields, and now the Dragons with first possession.
It's a real good early touch from the Warrington Wolves. Completed set, very good long kick from Michael Monaghan. Sent the ball all the way back and past Clint Greenshields. And if Warrington want to be successful tonight, their completion rate has to be in the high 70s and 80s, and they have to win that battle of field position. Early shaky start from Catalans. It's a very historic game for their club, as it is for the world of rugby league, and just got to work out now and find out if they can keep their composure in what is going to be a very rough and tough game.
Jean-Philippe Bale with a half break there, and then the kick comes in from Bosk. Warrington to return it in the shape of Richie Mathers. Just dragged back by 3 there. Croker in there for the Dragons. Grix picks it up. This is Matt King now. It's a good strong run from Matt King. It's Carlaw who effects the tackle in the end. Clark busy again. Now it's Adrian Morley, the captain, to getting the Wolves to within 5 metres of that halfway line. Big hit there. Takes the Wolves over halfway, the captain Morley.
The Catalans have to be very good tonight, holding back the likes of Carvel, the likes of Adrian Morley and John Clark at hooker. And that Warrington front three has been dominant during their good period in the middle of this season, and it's going to have to be very, very good again tonight.
On the last tackle it was Grix who put a kick in. Good touch finder on this near side. So Catalan have a scrum. They've got full of confidence, the Catalan Dragons, of course. Last Super League match, that breathless 32-30 win over the champions a fortnight ago. The match-winning try from Cyril Stakul, giving them incredible confidence, and of course the lift of coming to Barcelona's Olympic Stadium for the first time. This is Jamal Fakir, outstanding from the bench in that playoff win over the Wolves last season. Fakir.
Jerome Guisset, I think, led his side out tonight against his old club, the Warrington Wolves. It'll be a big night for Jerome Guisset, and he has to make sure that his charges as Guisset takes that ball in. He's very, very strong into the collision, has a good landing position. Not the quickest of play the balls, but it's safe as the Catalans prepare for that kick and chase again.
The kick goes straight out on the full, but Maguire, who kicked it, was taken out. It's going to be a scrum feed to Warrington, so Maguire has knocked on, has he, before he kicked this? Of course, the ball's gone out on the full, I should say, and so that's why Warrington have possession, but he was under a fair bit of pressure, Paul.
He certainly was. That's the problem with kicking from the dummy half position. John Clark read that play and legitimately got a shot on to Maguire as the ball was leaving his foot. So the ball out on the full, and for the first time in the match, Le Catalans defending virtually in their own 30-40 metre mark. And let's just see how the Warrington Wolves can set up and how they're going to execute their plays early on.
Warrington with a gilt-edged chance to attack here, and it was Louis Anderson who got the ball away for Adrian Morley. It's Olivier Ellimer and Casey Maguire who effect the tackle there. Warrington just 10 metres away though, in the shape of Gareth Carvel, who just charges in under those posts. It's Guisset who stops him. Clark, hands on for Westwood, deeper is Louis Anderson. Louis Anderson again gets the Wolves to that 5 metre away from the Catalan line. It's a kick coming in from Monaghan, just drifts one over the top. It's great defence from Catalan Dragons, and they do brilliantly to stay in the field of play as well. Thomas Bosch with a great defensive effort there for the Catalan side.
Superb read from Thomas Bosch. Michael Monaghan chose to go to the kick early in the tackle count. He did have another couple of plays. The Catalans now on a half break, moving Warrington back down the field. That's great movement. Mogg finally pushing up on that final pass.
It was the break from Stephen Bell that started this move. Mogg has carried it on. This is Jason Croker now, and the increase in tempo from Catalan Dragons been rewarded with an increase in volume on the terraces as well. They're starting to appreciate this effort as the Dragons move over halfway.
There's a big tackle previously from Chris Riley, the Warrington left wing. He came in, had to make the play.
Charge down from Mogg. It's Louis Anderson who has it back for Warrington. Now Matt King moving away from the dummy half position. He's taken high there by Fakir. Penalty Warrington, and tempers have risen sharply now. Morley's in there. You can understand why the Wolves are upset with that tackle.
Well, Fakir didn't like the response from John Clark, who came in just to try and police the situation, but the Warrington players didn't like this attempt. Straight, well, Matt King is 6'5". There's a lot of him under his chin, and Fakir didn't get any of it. He got him right round the throat. Catalan putting themselves under pressure. Great charge down from Louis Anderson, and then the wherewithal for Anderson to chase up and drop on that loose ball. And yet again, the Catalans now having to defend their own quarter, and Warrington once more in good field position.
The Dragons coach Kevin Walters seen his side absorb some pressure already in these early stages. John Clark marshalling things for Warrington. Brings in Monaghan. They pop the ball over to the right-hand side, and Chris Bridge is in the corner. Chris Bridge with the first try for Warrington. Well, all the pressure applied by Warrington Wolves, and the result is that Chris Bridge gets his 4th Super League try of the season. The Warrington contingent, they reckon that some 1,500 people have come over to watch the Wolves, and it's the perfect start for the visitors. They lead 4-0.
The Catalans giving the ball away, conceding field position. Michael Monaghan with a beautiful ball out wide, and Chris Bridge in at right centre, striding clear with no one in front. This ball where Michael Monaghan misses out Ben Harrison, straight onto Richie Mathers. Ben Westwood is the cut-out man. They gave right across him, and Chris Bridge, well, he's unstoppable with 2 players in front of him, and he made no mistake there when he ran simply and ran straight and clear.
The Warrington bench will have enjoyed that as they watch this goal-kicking attempt from Chris Hicks. Chris Bridge been a revelation under Tony Smith, really. As I say, 4 tries now this season, 7 goals as well for good measure. Got a try against the Dragons when they were pipped 28-26 a couple of years ago. He's left a very difficult conversion here for Chris Hicks. Hicks taking his time, sizing up a difficult opportunity here to add 2 more points for Warrington. It's the angle that he has. It looks pretty good. It's the Warrington fans who are cheering, and Chris Hicks just salutes that support. He's converted that try, and so Warrington lead by 6 points to 0. John Clark boots the ball away from the danger area, and it's heading towards this near touchline. It may stand up in the in-goal area here, and the chase is good from Chris Riley.
That was great rugby league all around. Superb completion from the Warrington Wolves. Real smart left-footed kick from John Clark. Hard a dummy half, very nearly a 40-20, almost a 30-10.
Great run from Steve Bell. He side through them in the centre of the field, and Stephen Bell still going, looking for support. Adam Mogg is still 15 metres behind him. It's Steve Bell who takes the tackle.
That's got to be in the sin bin, you would think.
Chris Hicks.
Well, Thierry Albert has chosen not to send Chris Hicks to the sin bin on the mass of a fantastic break from Steve Bell. Usually, on those kind of plays, the referee should have no option but to put the man in the sin bin because it's a try-scoring position on the back of a break. So whether he thinks the Warrington line had reassembled or not, I'm not quite sure. But Chris Hicks, very, very lucky to still be on the field.
Can Catalan Dragons inflict punishment on the field? Got a set of 6 from 10 metres away in which to do so. Maguire it is who waits. He feeds Adam Mogg. Short pass this time for Guisset. How he would love to score against his former club, Jerome Guisset. Casey Maguire works it to the left-hand side. It's a good ball as well for Thomas Bosk. That was Greenshields trying to make the extra man. Good tackle from Monaghan. How long have they repelled them for?
Did very well Warrington to read that play. Looked a little bit obvious though because Greenshields was coming around the back.
Carlo played the ball. This is Adam Mogg. Now that was Croker. This is Stakul. It's a couple of metres away. The dummy. Catalan. Have they sneaked over here? The referee has gone to the video official, Ray Tennant. It's Jason Croker. All the experience in the world, of course, and he trying to poach one here from dummy half.
It's a try, it's got to be, and how hard is that on Warrington? They had just defended the 2 real hard shifts. The previous 2 plays had taken Warrington right across the field from left to right and then back from right to left. They'd handled that, they read it, they defended very well, and then fall for the sucker punch. The movement from dummy half, the try-line D wasn't good enough, and Croker, usually a back row forward, playing out wide in the centres, doesn't usually find himself in a position just like this from dummy half. Warrington switch off, they fall for the dummy. Chris Riley and Matt King can't get underneath the Australian former back row forward, and he powers over from dummy half.
Jason Croker's first try of the season. To the elder statesman on show as far as Super League is concerned in Barcelona. Nigel Wright has a few pointers for this Warrington side. Jason Croker, 36. Paul Rauhihi on the Warrington bench. He'll be 36 next month, Rauhihi.
Louis Anderson there, guilty of possibly chasing too hard. You've got to wait for the ball to leave the dummy half's hands before you can release from your defence position and then chase hard on the inside. He's almost forced Jason Croker to dummy and show and go back on the inside. He went that hard from the dummy half position, he left himself wide open.
And Thomas Bosk with a chance now to level the scores. Bosk successful with the kick. It's his 44th goal of the season, and it's level in Barcelona. Catalan Dragons 6, Warrington Wolves 6. It's Carlo who plays the ball for the Dragons.
It's a real safety set at the minute for the Catalan Dragons. They have been quite ambitious with their ball movement early on. First 2 or 3 sets, getting 3 or 4 passes per carry of the ball. A little bit one out on this set, just working for completion, trying to find good field position, which they now have. They're into the Warrington half and setting up for the kick.
Maguire for Thomas Bosk. Just trying to get it over the head there of Richie Mathers. Mathers, his hands above his head and collected that ball, but the chase is a good one from Croker, the try scorer.
Real good field position though from the Warrington back 3, full back and both wingers. They had dropped themselves back. It was the last tackle. Ball's come loose.
Ball surrendered by Warrington Wolves. They've put some real pressure on themselves now. The referee wipes the tackle count clean. They're 5 metres away. Catalan Dragons, Thomas Bosk. back inside. Going to try and drive at the line again.
They're keeping Warrington tied into the middle of the field, aren't they? Trying to get them sucked in, then play out wide.
That was Guisset. This is Bosk now. Adam Mogg gives it some air, and Cyril Stakul sneaks in at the corner. Chris Riley, there was nothing he could do. And Cyril Stakul with his 6th try of the season. Catalan Dragons have back-to-back tries, and they take the lead for the first time in this match.
Well, that was a fantastic effort from Catalan Dragons. You could really see them working on the set-up plays, the play before the play. Ty Warrington in midfield. It brings the centres and wingers in to work on that defence. The moment you've got them in, bring the half-backs out the back. Mogg with a superb cut-out pass, and the winger on the outside of Chris Riley. That's a very, very great, good try, and a very important score for Catalans.
Cyril Stakul trying 3 successive Super League matches now for the former Villeneuve man. As we see the angle that Thomas Bosk has to improve that try.
Very familiar and similar pattern, regardless of what teams are playing or whatever rugby league we watch or play at. If you make mistakes, if you turn the ball over cheaply in poor field position, you're putting yourself really under the pump.
Thomas Bosk successful with that first kick. A similar sort of angle. Favours a right-footed kicker. He's pulled that wide of the target though. Catalan Dragons ahead by 10 points to 6. Chris Hicks with the first drive, and they've lost possession again, the Wolves. It's Richie Mathers.
Well, both sides are now very, very guilty of not completing the sets, giving away penalties. Discipline from both sides, offence and defence, is forcing this game into a little bit of a scrappy affair. Maybe it's the heat, the humidity, the conditions at this stadium, but both sides are looking now as if they're suffering a little bit.
Catalan Dragons with the scrum feed then. Thierry Alibert getting the scrum to his satisfaction. Eventually the Dragons do have possession. Adam Mogg with it. This is Clint Greenshields. Greenshields brings in Cyril Stakul.
That was good movement of the ball from a scrum set. Moved it cleanly and calmly across the field. Forced the Warrington pack to break and retreat an awful long way to get themselves back on side.
The Dragons in possession again then. And then, as I say that, they've lost the ball. It was Riles who lost possession.
Well, Jason Riles, that's, to be fair, a ridiculous offload. He can't even see his own players from that angle. There was a Warrington shirt, Michael Monaghan, directly in between the next Catalans player, and he's just persisted with a one-handed offload. Done very, very well to get the ball.
Catalan Dragons, it's Greenshields who has it, finds Stakul. Just to make the most of this opportunity, Kevin Walters' side. Tackles in the bank as well.
That movement to the middle channels, right in front of the sticks, that's designed just to hold the Warrington players there. Are they going to go wide again?
Carlo plays it, now Perry has it, now Bosk to the left-hand side, Jean-Philippe Bale. Good tackle coming in from Monaghan. It's Westwood upstairs as well. They're going to try and poach one again, Catalan.
Just check for the kick. Bosch maybe to Greenshields. He signalled something out the back of play.
It was Ellimer who tried to poach it. Go for something more expansive now. I don't think Greenshields was expecting that. And then Mogg puts a kick in. Good improvisation from Adam Mogg. And it's Chris Riley who just shuttles that ball dead. And from a, well, not a very optimistic position, Catalan Dragons have a repeat set.
Yeah, very scruffy from both sides. You can actually see the fullback Clint Greenshields waving and signalling to Thomas Boss as that ball came across for the kick over. He was throwing the fingers over, he wanted the ball over the top. That's why he knocked on when it came out. He was expecting a kick and chase, and Boss just couldn't come up with the play.
Great thinking from Jason Croker, already on the scoreboard tonight. 5 Australian caps, 5 appearances for New South Wales as well. Made his debut against Brisbane over 18 years ago now, Jason Croker. And he did well to put a kick in that's produced that repeat set now for Catalan Dragons.
The real quality tradesman. If you can go from a second row forward into your mid-30s and shift out wide and play in the centre against the likes of Matt King, you've got to be a decent competitor.
Adam Mogg with possession for the Dragons. Riles centrally again. Move to the left-hand side and Bosk is in there. That's Ellimer, 10 metres away. Reverse kick this time from Thomas Bosk.
A little bit of panic there in the Warrington ranks. The kick was overcooked. It was too heavy on the foot. It was going to go dead in goal. Chris Bridge couldn't take a chance. He was forced to get a hand to the ball. Just have a look at this from Thomas Bosk. He tries to get a little bit of backspin. He's right under the ball. If Chris Bridge could gamble and let that bounce, but he's chose not to. He's put his hand on the ball. So Warrington restart from in front of their own sticks. And again, they've now got to defend another back-to-back set. And what the Catalans usually do, drive to the sticks, midfield go forward, then shift to the edge and try and catch Warrington out wide.
Monaghan's driven dropout. Ferriol meets it, charges the ball back in again. Gonna head for the post, as Paul suggests.
I'm just looking for the indicators out the back, and with the Catalans...
Riles with an offload. That was Mogg. I beg your pardon, that's Greenshields. Looking to offload again, but taking the ball in, Carlo. Now it's Bosk over to the left-hand side. That looked promising. Now it could be promising for Warrington. There's a breakaway here. Great work from Bridge and then Hicks. They've sensibly kept hold of the ball here, Warrington Wolves. And now they have a penalty. Catalan Dragons all at sea as Warrington broke away with pace.
And Thierry Albert returns the compliment. A last play options where the you would think a sin bin would come into play. He chooses not to. They now have to defend that set. Catalans again, I think, fortunate to still have 13 people on the field, but they're now doing it tough. They're under the pump. They're defending their own 10.
Matt King got Warrington to within 5 metres of that line. Flung back from Paul Rauhihi. Space on the right-hand side for the Wolves. It was Richie Mathers who tried to step back the other way. And then it's Monaghan who moves out of one tackle. He's lost possession. The chance for Warrington goes begging. It's a chance they created, to be fair to the Wolves, thanks to the pace of Chris Bridge, but then it's squandered.
That's show and go there from Michael Monaghan. He's waiting for support. It doesn't come. He can't pull the ball back in. And it actually was Michael Monaghan who picked up that loose ball, top end of the field. It was his interception. He raced away, realised he didn't have the legs to go the full distance. He popped it onto Chris Bridge, who did exceptionally well to tear down the field. And that's where I thought the referee may have put one of the Catalans players in the sin bin. But he's happened twice in this game so far, and he's kept his card in his pocket on both occasions.
Been fair on both sides, even if there's an argument to say that each should have had a man in the sin bin. Catalan Dragons trying to move the ball away from their own line. Rauhihi with the tackle on Jean-Philippe Bale.
Maybe Benny's got an eye or a feel for the temperature in this stadium in Barcelona. It's very hot and humid. That's the stats coming through, and he just maybe wants to keep 13 people on the field. I don't know.
Be very, very difficult to defend with 12 men in this sort of humidity as Catalan Dragons enter that Warrington half of the field again. Last one coming up for the Dragons. Adam Mogg has it, just switches it and then does really well to put the ball on the boot and get a kick in that finds touch on this near side.
I think also a welcome break from both teams there. Warrington get a chance to suck some air in, get a breather at the scrum. It's going to be, on the 20-metre mark, the whistle blows for half-time. Almost even Stevens. Catalan just have that edge, but it's been a real tough game, and Ben Harrison in this clip doesn't look well at all, does he?
Just 3 tries in it at half-time then, and Catalan just shading it. They lead by 10 points to 6. It's so far so good for Catalan Dragons, who lead Warrington by 10 points to 6 at half-time as the Wolves get this second half underway. It's the first Super League game to be played in Spain, and there's a magnificent crowd of over 18,000 here in Barcelona's Olympic Stadium, hoping the Dragons can hold on.
I'm sure Kevin Walters and Tony Smith will be asking their charges to produce a cleaner game in this second half. Both sides guilty of giving away far too many penalties and too many unforced errors with the ball in an atmosphere that's very hot and humid.
There's the kick from Thomas Bosk, and Richie Mathers well positioned to collect. That's good speed from the fullback as well, and Mathers cuts through the first couple of tackles. It was Croker in there to bring him down alongside Stakul. I think both coaches will have spoken to their sides about keeping possession, and Warrington just moving the ball up. But as I say that, pass flicked out for Chris Bridge.
Lovely little twos place from Paul Rauhi. He tips the ball onto Chris Bridge, half a poke through the line.
Using the short side now, Warrington, and Ben Westwood gets the ball away as well. This is Vinnie Anderson now. Last one coming up for the Wolves as Jean-Philippe Bale makes the tackle on Anderson. That was Chris Hicks. The kick comes in from Michael Monaghan. Crossfield kick again. And Stakul is there, tidies up for Catalan Dragons. I think that's definitely one of the key things that both coaches will have been talking about, Paul, at half-time, retaining possession.
Very important. If you look at the way the scores have come about in the first half of this game, invariably it's on the back of an error, an unforced error with the ball, a couple of back-to-back penalties. You're forced backwards, you're asked to defend your own try line, and at some point, whoever you are in defence, if you're doing that too often, your line's going to crack and give.
The Dragons just 8 metres short of halfway, and then a delicate kick put in. Well, has that ball gone out on the full? No, he's positioned it just right there. It was Shane Perry who got the ball away.
John Clark just having that spell on the bench along with Adrian Morley, Gareth Carvel, and the man who went off injured, Ben Harrison, looked like a jolt to the upper chest, maybe around the throat, and Vinnie Anderson on now in that loose forward position.
John Clark with something of a point to prove. His club coach didn't select him for that mid-season international. Scott Moore got the hooking job. This is Matt King, meanwhile, for Warrington.
That's good movement forward from big Matt King. First play from a scrum, and he's turned the Catalan players around.
Trying to improve on that, Griggs. Simon Griggs with some good pace there, and Warrington just moving up individually at this stage. Over the halfway line.
Simple plays from Warrington, all one out, all in a tight channel, and those are good enough to keep turning the Catalans around.
All flung back. Last one now for Warrington. Untidy play the ball, and then Monaghan just drifts a kick in. It was trying to go behind Stephen Bell, and Bell now to counter for the Dragons. It's a solid hit on him. Coming in from the kicker, Monaghan. Now Warrington will just ask the Dragons to move the ball away from their own line. Here is Jean-Philippe Bale, centrally for the Dragons, trapped by Vinnie Anderson. Too much messing about there in the play of the ball, and Thierry Alibert's patient snaps. Catalan Dragons have a penalty holding down by Paul Rauhi.
Well, the ball arm is clearly on the floor. That tackle's complete. Paul Rauhi takes an age to clear himself from the ruck. I honestly don't think Thierry Alibert has any option whatsoever to blow the whistle. And where Warrington had completed the ball, completed the set well, had kicked the ball reasonably, give a penalty away, and now asking themselves, demanding of themselves to defend for the first time in this second half. Poor field position. And the Catalans just working themselves up the field. They're looking like they're going to be a little bit more patient.
Jason Riles plays the ball, and then a total miscommunication there. Hands the initiative back to Warrington.
But as we speak, we talk of patience, and then a ridiculous pass under no pressure whatsoever gifts the ball back to the Warrington Wolves. And it's the Catalans, their turn this time to turn the ball over cheaply.
Warrington will be relieved to have possession back, and they go over halfway, and then the ball is, well, I thought it was going to be reefed out. Lost possession, and so Catalan now have possession back.
Well, it really is, to quote my good friend Sean McRae, a knock on a thumb. The ball has turned over very, very cheaply from both teams, it must be said, throughout the first half, and it's now evident early on in the second half as well. Yet another penalty against the Warrington Wolves for interference at the play of the ball. I don't quite know whether the Catalans are going to opt to kick and just push themselves a little bit further in front, or they're going to go to a touchline kick and try and break that Warrington spirit in defence.
Only in the early stages of this second half, and it's already looking like the first 40 minutes in terms of errors and penalties.
Now, unfortunately, it's turned out to be a very scruffy game. Neither side's completion rates will be anywhere near that the coaches of these two clubs demand from these teams. And, you know, you get the feeling that in this game it's going to be who makes that crucial mistake at that time. Now, we're not expecting, I don't certainly at this moment, there's going to be some brilliant expansive play that's going to win this game. It's going to be who makes the more or less mistakes.
Thomas Bosch then to try and give Catalan a 6-point lead. Failed with that second conversion from the touchline. This is a more central position. Bosch, no problem. And so Catalan now lead by 12 points to 6. Warrington restart then after that penalty from Thomas Bosch. Talking of the coaches, as it's a knock on the verdict from Thierry Alibert, so Warrington immediately get the initiative back.
How many times do we see this? A one-handed flick back pass. That's Jason Riles, state of origin, international Australian player. Ball gets flicked back with a one-handed pass. Play one after scoring a try, and coach Kevin Walters simply can't believe what he's seen.
15 Australian appearances for Jason Riles, but he's handed Warrington the initiative here with a pass that was never on. And now the Wolves, in the shape of Chris Bridge, trying to punish that error as Kevin Walters looks on. Saw him in the shot a moment ago. This is Paul Wood now. Tackles in the bank for Warrington Wolves. Again, they go to that left-hand side. It's a short pass. It's going to be a try for Warrington from Matt King. Catalan defence had no answer to that, and Matt King with his 8th try of the season. It was a try all of the Catalan Dragons making. The error from Jason Riles is punished by Matt King. And now Warrington move to within 2 points with the kick to come.
Well, that was a beautiful ball from Louis Anderson, an even better line of run from Matt King. Ran straight, then cut in late off his left foot and stood up the Catalans' defence as they didn't even see him coming out of that corner shot. Great ball from Louis Anderson, even better run and finish from Big Matt King.
One or two things for Jerome Guisset there to think about as Chris Hicks prepares to take this kick. Matt King a try in the loss to Catalan on home soil in round 2. Now he's got a try in the away fixture as well in the city of Barcelona. This to level the scores then. Chris Hicks composes himself, and Chris Hicks slots the ball between the posts. It's a 12-point each ball game now. $12 each on the scoreboard. Short pass this time. Ralhihi looking to offload. Just 5 metres away. Monaghan ignored this time by Paul Wood. Decided to go himself. Stopped by Riles. And then the kick over the top from Monaghan is a good one, but it's been taken brilliantly by Clint Greenshields. And Clint Greenshields is away. Has space in front of him, but Riley is quick. And Riley makes a fantastic tackle on Clint Greenshields. It's his second breakout. What can Catalan Dragons do? It's a great ball in the centre of the field. And then they've coughed up possession. Warrington will have it back. End-to-end stuff in Barcelona. What a tackle though from Chris Riley.
Superb defence from the Warrington Wolves. It was Chris Riley chasing a great athlete in his own right in Clint Greenshields. He turned and caught him and was making up yard with every single step. And if this game's going to be decided on any one incident, it deserves to be on that one. Great scramble D from the Warrington Wolves, and the ball dislodged from Catalans on the next play.
The crowd who've come to this Olympic Stadium in Barcelona and tasted rugby league for the first time must be on the edge of their seats with a game like this. It really has gone from end to end. May not be one for the coaches perhaps. Paul Johnson gets the ball away, and Warrington trying another speculator over to this near side. Almost pinched out to the air by Steve Bell, but Bridge has it. This now is Morley. Straightens things up, Adrian Morley, and gets Warrington on the front foot again. Last one coming up for the Wolves. Fumble from Monaghan. Catalan Dragons have it back in the shape of Elima.
Oh, Michael Monaghan doesn't look healthy, does he? He hit the floor very, very hard. The ball bounced and bobbled out of his hands. It was a full-on blooded attempt from the Catalans to get that ball back. The ball's gone loose. It was a big shoulder shot from Oliver Elima. And Michael Monaghan doesn't look healthy, lay on the ground.
Michael Monaghan about to get to his feet, and Kevin Walters just watching on. This break will give him a chance to get some instructions down, and that incident is going on report. So problems for the Catalan Dragons coach, Gareth Carvel. Takes 3 of them to put into ground. Elima, Guisset among them. Vinnie Anderson assuming the hooking role now for the Wolves. It's he in possession, comes back to the Warrington right-hand side. Michael Monaghan's pass, and Monaghan cleaned out again. He's flat out for the second time in a couple of minutes. Michael Monaghan, play continues. And now Thierry Alibert sensibly, I think, stops things to allow Michael Monaghan to get some treatment as Warrington attack in that sort of area.
Michael Monaghan offloaded the ball. It bounced back and he took another late shot after the ball had left his hands. Here's the play. Oh, my apologies, it was on the delivery of the pass. The shoulder barge. Just trying to work out who it is from the Catalans, who also got a bang to the head as his head hit the floor very, very hard. So this game taking its toll and doing some damage to both sides.
I think it was Elima again, so...
Well, if he's the man to mark Michael Monaghan, well, he's certainly doing his job.
Now Stephen Bell. Catalan just 5 metres short of halfway. It's another penalty. It's a knock-on, in fact, and so it's Warrington who have possession.
Little drop-off play from Catalans there, just trying to work Warrington over in the middle of the field. That's where Jérôme Guisset just restrained himself from reaching out. Possibly would have been a double movement. couldn't get a good grip on the ball. Well, the Catalans now have lost the ball on that drop-off play, trying to work Warrington over in the middle of the field and just weren't quite good enough to finish it.
Warrington then in possession in a good area of the field. John Clark moves in, goes to the left-hand side. This is Paul Johnson now. Johnson fighting for every metre before he's trapped by Guisset there. Clark again.
Gareth Carvel, at least 3, possibly 4 men have to manhandle him in every tackle. He's that powerful.
Carvel plays the ball 5 metres away. The kick comes in. It's a great kick as well, and it's been picked up. Warrington have a try here. It's Paul Wood who's got over. Simon Griggs, is it?
Possibly Chris Riley.
I'll get it in the end.
Very, very difficult to call these players. Looks like it's been filmed from the moon. And Chris Riley just pushes up on that left-hand side. Good, clean pick-up. And if you think that's a clean touchdown as well, whether he's onside or not, that's what's going to be debated. It looks like it from that angle. And if Chris Riley, if anyone deserves a score in this game, it's Chris Riley for that chase back previously on Clint Greenshields.
The kick coming in from Simon Griggs, and it's Chris Hicks who gets his 50th try of the season, and that could be important. And Kevin Walters sees his side concede 2 more points via the boot of Hicks. One or two concerned faces. Adam Mogg. Chris Hicks now prepares to take this conversion attempt. Monaghan, I'm pleased to say, is looking a little bit better than he did when he was carried off the field just a few moments ago. He will be cheered by that try from Chris Riley. And now Chris Hicks try and extend the Warrington advantage. Chris Hicks to try and add 2 more points for the Wolves from the touchline. That's a magnificent effort from Chris Hicks, and so Warrington now lead by 18 points to 12. Paul Wood brings the ball forward for Warrington. Now it's Vinnie Anderson. Now Carvel in the engine room again. Just 8 metres away from the halfway line. Tackle comes in from Carlo.
Good metres from Adrian Morley, just leans almost 45-degree angle, leans into contact and leg drives through into collision.
Last one coming up for Warrington. Vinnie Anderson will play the ball. Comes back for Griggs. It's a kick in. Greenshields though well positioned, safe underneath it. Really has been a masterclass in fullback play from Clint Greenshields this evening. Still Stakul escapes. Stakul almost through. It's Morley who traps him. Does well not to concede the penalty, Adrian Morley, but they're pouring forward here. Catalan Dragons in the shape of Stephen Bell.
Good movement, kick return, great movement across the field. Catalans now back into those middle channels. They do keep returning the ball there. +1 drop-offs. That's where they drop the outside man back off into the middle. That's where they think they're going to get the Warrington Wolves.
Maguire with a nice pass for Greenshields. Ferriol plays the ball for Maguire now. Last one. Boss back on the inside. Now Jerome Guisset flings the ball back and Greenshields chips ahead. Greenshields trying to chase his own kick. Thomas Bosk is in there as well. And has Bosk got the ball down for Catalan Dragons? If so, we could be all square again.
Well, look at that movement. They just kept the ball alive. Clint Greenshields, great little kick through. I think we might need another look and maybe another 2 or 3 to get a clear view on that. Chris Bridge it was who was trying to get back. to save that play. Thomas Bosch pushing up. Well, I don't think that try can be awarded. He's clearly onside, just waiting now to see whether he gets a clean touchdown. Is it that left hand from Thomas Bosch after Chris Bridges pushed the ball backwards?
Try denied by the video referee Ray Tennant. So a let off for Warrington. Here is Morley now for the Wolves. Strong run from Simon Griggs. Almost to halfway for Warrington Wolves. Croker in the tackle there. Some more good work in defence coming in from Guisset, leading from the front. Last one coming up though for Warrington Wolves. And it's Griggs with the kick, and Green Shields again is underneath it. Faultless once more.
Well, Clint Greenshields' position is either very, very good, or Warrington have got to readjust their kicking sights, because every time the ball leaves a Warrington foot, it lands straight in the hands of the Catalans fullback.
The Super League dream team last season. Clint Greenshields on this form, you can see exactly why. Four tackles gone already for Catalan Dragons as Jerome Guisset plays the ball for Casey Maguire. Warrington defence holds, and the last one coming up now as Bosch just puts a kick in over the top. It's an imaginative kick as well, but Mathers is there. Received a heavy hit there.
Was a challenging kick from Catalans, just dropped it into no man's land, beat the Warrington cover retreating, and challenged Richie Mathers to come forward onto a ball that was bouncing just high for catching. So Richie Mathers did very, very well to come away with that ball.
Warrington, weaving run from John Clark. He's siding through them here, John Clark. He's got the pace as well to the line. That is a magnificent try from the Warrington hooker, John Clark. Well, he was left out of the England squad, or the England team, to face the French last weekend, and John Clark shows his club coach that he could be picked for his country with a fantastic try here in Barcelona. He extends the Warrington lead. A magnificent four-pointer from John Clark, his first of the season.
Johnny Clark switches back to his most accustomed position at hooker, running from dummy half. That was great vision, great fitness. He's a great athlete, John Clark. Little show and go, picks up, not square at marker, finds a massive hole on the inside of the A defender. That's the first man off the ruck, and John Clark outpaces Clint Greenshields to score in the corner. Could that be the final play that breaks the Catalan spirit?
Chris Hicks composes himself. It's another difficult kick, and he's pulled that to the left of that left-hand post. But Warrington have a 10-point lead. They're ahead by 22 points to 12. Maybe one or two believing that they're on the way to 2 points in Barcelona in this historic match. Paul Wood will play the ball. John Clark, that was Carvella, now Morley. Last one coming up for Tony Smith's side. Clark doesn't go to Greenshields this time, but Cyril Stacoul will bring it back.
Well, the Catalans have worked out that Warrington are not running these plays on the last option anymore. They're going to kick, even from dummy half. John Clark left foot on that occasion. Well, it looks like all the go forward, the spirit has now drained out. That's Clint Greenshields making an unforced error. That's most unusual. And Warrington just grinding away in this game, completing, kicking and chasing, and waiting to see whether the Catalan Dragons are going to make errors on the ball, and they have done.
Clint Greenshields with the first blot on his copybook. Been fantastic all night until that point. A couple of tries in that 40 points to 20 win at Warrington 4 months ago. And it's Warrington in the shape of Harrison who bring the ball away. Head-high tackle from Catalan Dragons. Gives Warrington even more possession here.
Yeah, you'll think Warrington will go for the 2 points now. Just keep knocking this clock off. Time for a breather. Chris Hicks has been very, very good. That's a big swinging arm from Ferriol, just over the top of, I think it's Ben Harrison, just swings over the top. And Warrington look like now, for all money, James Lowe's just checking his blood pressure, I think. Warrington seem to have done enough to win this game, and you just can't quite work out and see how the Catalans can get themselves back in this game to rescue anything from it.
Catalan Dragons actually claimed their first away win in Super League at Warrington back in March 2006. It's going to be Warrington who make the history here. First Super League game played on Spanish soil, and they're in the driving seat to win it. Chris Hicks looking to add 2 more points for the Wolves. Straight and true. So Warrington now ahead by 24 points to 12. Carlo with the tackle on Vinnie Anderson. John Clark now. Away this time for Westwood. Guisset upstairs. Maguire in there as well, and Carlo seems to have done so much defending. Morley pops the pass away this time for Paul Wood. Fakir with the tackle. Clark for Morley. Morley still going, Adrian Morley, and just trapped by Jerome Guisset in the nick of time there. 2 captains in opposition, and the kick comes in as the crowd count down to the end of this one. It's the Warrington voices that you can hear, because the Wolves have won in Barcelona. It's the Wolves who've made history.
So a great occasion in Barcelona, and this is the way the weekend has shaped up so far. Round 17 of the Engage Super League. Victory for Castleford at Huddersfield, for Hull narrowly against Salford on Friday. On Saturday, a great win for Warrington in Barcelona. Hull Kingston Rovers, they finally win in the month of June in a Super League season, and Leeds, a great display at the home of the Harlequins. Next Saturday, it's Castleford Tigers against the Catalan Dragons at 6 o'clock on Sky Sports 2 and HT2. And next Sunday, it's a Sunday start for Hull Kingston Rovers against Wigan, 6 o'clock, Sky Sports 1 and HD1.